Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this narration of the web series Humans Don't Make Good Familiars. If you are new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 27, Suma's Point of View. The captain and I arrived at the tree-like castle. Once we were closer, I was able to see the beams that wrapped around the castle's base in greater detail. In reality, they were cages built around the only entrance, acting as a simple barrier to block large familiars from getting through. Inscribed on them were various runes. Most likely, their function would be to make a cage-like structure painful or even deadly to come into contact with. But we were too far to tell. We landed on the dirt just outside the cage structure, and several Niema wearing red lace clips flew down from their perches on the sides of the castle. They are the city guards. Show them respect, answer their questions clearly, and do not anger them, Captain Rosoan told me. The guards landed in front of us, and immediately summoned their familiars. Under them appeared two hound-like beasts with long tusks. The beasties' bodies were long and slender. One had a dark grey fur, and the other's was brown. They were very intimidating creatures. They both stared at us, their gazes never leaving our bodies for even a moment. State your reason for business, the Niema on the brown one demanded. I am Captain Rosoan, and this is Private Suma. Our presence was requested by Her Majesty's Royal Court. Present your documents, the guard in the grey beast ordered. The captain and I summoned our documentation and presented them to the guards, who reviewed them for several minutes. You may enter, but while inside you will cast no spells, rites, or rituals, unless ordered to by the royal court. You will not summon any familiars without proper authorization. While inside you will be escorted by members of royal mages. You will not attempt to leave their presence, nor will you go anywhere without their approval. Failure to follow these instructions may have fatal consequences. Do you understand? We do, the captain acknowledged. After hearing his instructions, I felt myself growing increasingly more nervous. Wait here for an escort, they said, and then flew back to their perches. Their familiars stayed behind and continued to watch us until our escort arrived. A reddish-brown Niema with a royal mage's insignia on each of her wings, made of golden lace, landed. She told us to follow her. The cage's runes began to glow, and then we watched as the opening to the entrance twisted and reshaped itself until it was wide enough for us to fly through. The inside of the castle was impressive, a fortress taller than a citadel in my home city, and as wide as the base I've spent the last few months training in. But if the outside was a fortress, then the inside was a palace. The walls were still made of molded stone and vines, but interwoven with them were gemstones, as well as precious metals like silver and gold. Even the vines themselves were more ornate, having been dyed a variety of bright colors, mostly whites, purples, and reds. It was beautiful. We flew through the hallways of the castle and landed outside of the entrance. The court mage began to explain what would happen. The royal court is convening inside at this moment. For some reason, Her Majesty has decided to preside over today's hearing. He will not address the Queen Umpera unless she does so first. Understood? Yes. Excellent. You have a moment before they request you. I suggest that you use that time to calm yourself or go over any information you wish to present to them. We know what we're going to say, but thank you for the advice, the captain said. The mage nodded and turned her attention to the room before us. Private Suma, you need to calm down. Is it obvious? I asked nervously. Yes. I will try to remain composed. You know, I was in your place once, Captain Rosoan said. You were once questioned because your familiar is one of the only beings alive capable of utilizing the most dangerous magic our world has ever seen. Do not make jokes once we are being questioned. Yes, sir. What I mean is, I was once questioned by the royal court as well. About what, sir? It does not matter. What does matter is how I got through it. He took a deep breath. I stared at a single point, no matter what was said, or who was talking. All I did was stare at a single fixed point. Did that work? No, they thought I was crazy. I do not see how that... What I'm trying to say is, just treat it like a conversation between yourself and your squad captain. Do not overthink it, because that is when you will go wrong. They're ready for you, the mage said. Thank you, sir, I said. His advice did not make me feel any better, but it did take my mind off the situation for a moment. We followed the mage into the room and saw dozens of Niema, all perched in a crescent moon shape, focused on a single point. That point is where we landed. We were perched on 2 golden bars wrapped in vines, whereas the royal court were perched on sloped manor, allowing me to see all of them. To the right of the moon, being guarded by 6 mages and their familiars, all of which were as strong or stronger than the drakes and black serpents, was an ornately decorated Niema. She looked to be about my age, maybe a bit younger, and her eyes were transfixed on me. Are you Private Suma, from Court Thecoma, Isabel's domain, master of the familiar called Sentinel? One of the members of the court, a male Niema with golden brooch on his chest, asked. I am. And have you been informed of the reason why you are brought here? Do you wish to inquire about my familiar and the nature of his magic? That is correct. However, those are not the only reasons for your appearance before us today. The court member looked around the room for a moment. You have not summoned him yet? I was told not to do so without express permission by the court, I said. Captain Rizoan was perched quietly by my side, but he was constantly looking back and forth between myself and the court member who was talking. The court member turned to the queen. With your permission, Queen Umpera. The young queen gave a small nod. Private Suba, you may summon your familiar called Sentinel. The mages around the queen all looked tense, their feathers puffed up, and their familiars started to show fangs, if they had them, that is. I flew to the ground and started the summoning. A magic circle formed on the ground below me. I summon you, Sentinel. End of chapter.
I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Caspar Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.